Santo and his wife get very animated watching their daughter Sofia playing an important game of ice hockey. The girl gets a timeout when she gets into a fight with the opposition after being fouled, but she's let back into the game soon after and scores the winning point. After the game, she gets a victory kiss from her boyfriend Hakeem. While her parents watch, her mother asks Santo for his opinion of the boy, and it's positive, but he warns that if he hurts his daughter's feelings, he'll have to deal with him. The mother tries to calm him down as they both laugh it off, but from his eyes, the father is very serious. Sofia makes her way to her parents, who congratulate her on her win. She reminds her father of the promise he is to fulfill if she won that game. The family make their way back to their lovely house in the countryside. Santo and his daughter get dressed before going out again. The mother worries as they leave because the promise was that he would teach her how to drive off-road. Sofia takes the wheel as she does well to cross a stream, but she breaks the side mirrors when she tries to navigate a bend and apologizes when they arrive at their destination. The two have a picnic with a picturesque view. Santo suggests that they bring their mum the coming Sunday, but she begs for permission to go on a motorbike camping trip with Hakeem. He's reluctant to allow it at first, but she assures him that other friends will be coming, so he agrees. With such a view, Sofia wants to take a picture with her dad, but he refuses. She already knows that he doesn't like it. They make their way back to the car, and while Santo fixes the mirror, Sofia takes a picture of him and posts it on her social media for all to see. Little does she know that there was a darker reason why her dad didn't want his picture out there. Rudy confirms Santo's identity to his boss using state-of-the-art facial recognition software, along with the government database. Unaware of the impending danger, Santo later decides to stay back at work and asks his brother-in-law to pick Sofia up from practice. The brother-in-law drops his niece off at home and decides to come in to say hello to his sister. As they discuss Santo's lateness, Rudy and Marino enter the unlocked house with cameras on their heads. Santo's wife meets them in the corridor, and Rudy immediately attacks her. Her brother comes to help, but he's attacked by Marino. All the while, Sofia is upstairs loading up the washing machine, but she comes out to check what's going on when she hears screaming. Marino points the camera at the brother's face to get a good shot of him, while Rudy finishes off Santo's wife. The girl peeps down and is spotted by Rudy, who chases after her, but she jumps from the second floor and escapes into the woods as the guy shoots at her. The attackers are forced to forget about her and leave the scene as that's more important. Meanwhile, Santo finishes his extra work and calls his wife, but gets no response. He thinks nothing of it and sets off home, but calls his daughter on the way and gets no response from her too. Santo arrives home and is surprised to see his brother-in-law's car still around. When he gets closer, he realizes that the front door is still open and approaches with caution. Santo comes in to see his wife lying dead and his brother-in-law in the same state. He sobs over her corpse for a moment before the dread hits him when he thinks about his daughter's whereabouts. Just as he calls for her, she too returns from her little escape. He grabs her and immediately leaves the scene as she pleads for him to call an ambulance. Sofia sobs, demanding an explanation on why they are just running away like that. She even pulls the handbrake, which stops the car. Santo berates her and shuts her up, allowing him to drive them to an abandoned warehouse. The girl has some valid questions about their situation, but her father explains that if they called the police, he would be taken into custody. During that interval, Rudy makes his way to Don Angelo's house, who happens to be his boss. There they review the footage from the attack. Rudy and Marino thought that the brother-in-law was Santo, but the boss informs them that they got the wrong guy. Rudy calls his partner to alert him of their mistake and their obligation to fix it. All the while, Santo prepares for war by shaving his hair and beard while having a flashback to the event that started this retaliation. He killed Don Angelo's son while he was driving many years ago. He snaps back to the present as he opens a locked compartment that has burner phones and all the necessary essentials needed to stay on the run. Sofia has another tantrum, wanting to know what exactly is going on. Her father calms her down and explains that he was a hitman for the mafia before he met Sofia's mother, which led to his reformation, but his evil past has come back to haunt him. He reveals his real name to his daughter, and everything starts to click for her. The girl finally understands why he didn't want any pictures taken of him. She confesses to taking one of him, but because of his lies, she blames him for her mother's death. Santo keeps a stern demeanor while he prepares to leave, but the father gives his daughter one of his phones and instructs her to trust him. He tells her not to use it or answer it unless he's the one calling. The girl is to stay put while he goes to fix the situation. Santo first ambushes an old acquaintance at his pizza shop, and after some aggressive persuasion, he confirms that it was Don Angelo who sent the hitmen after him and his family. He leaves his informant to die from his injuries when he gets his intel. Back at the safe house, Sofia throws her father's instruction out of the window and calls Hakeem to come and pick her up. He worries because the incident at their house has become public information. Hakeem gets on his bike and rushes to save his damsel in distress, but unbeknownst to them, The mafia have picked up the call and have begun to move to Sofia's location too. Loverboy gets to the warehouse in record time to pick her up, but as they leave, Marino jets past them and turns right around to pursue when he notices the couple. Shortly after, Santo returns to find his daughter missing and the phone left behind. He comes back out and sees the motorbike track, so he begins to follow it. During that interval, Marino has caught up to them and begins to shoot at the couple. Hakim tries to lose him by going off-road, but the constant shooting causes him to fall over a log. The mafioso also exits the car and coldly executes an injured Hakim. Sofia tries to escape, but he easily apprehends her. She spits in his face and tries to fight back, but he further retains the girl and throws her in the boot like groceries. Just as Marino is about to leave, Santo catches up and attacks him before dragging him out of the car. The two exchange blows, however. The father gets a nasty stab wound, but ultimately gets the upper hand and executes Marino. All the while, Don Angelo has a meeting with his youngest son, Michel, who expresses his objections to the hunt, as it could bring unwanted attention to their current operations. His father slaps him for such nonsense waffle, as this is retribution for his other son. Concurrently, Santo tries to drive to safety while bleeding out and almost collides with a truck. Sofia is forced to take the wheel and brings them to a gas station where she buys some basic first aid supplies for her dad to patch his wounds. But while she was inside the shop, she was almost spotted when the news comes on reporting her family's tragedy. Her dad's true identity is also now known at this point, so the police are actively searching for him and have labeled him as armed and dangerous. Later that night, they take a stop at a car park where Santo steals another car for them to keep on the run. With his target missing again, Angelo calls their digital security expert to help them find Santo. Using the real-time surveillance cameras around the city, the Don has that mafia money, so the expensive service is just a means to an end. In the interim, the father and daughter arrive at the next city, and Santo decides to rest up at a building that's up for sale. Sofia comes in to see that his condition has worsened, so she finds a suspicious salon and offers them money to help her find a discreet hospital. At this point, Santo is disorientated as they transport him to the health center for treatment. As he lies in the recovery room, Sofia reads a note written on the back of an old family picture of her dad appreciating his family and professing his love for them. Meanwhile, Michel parties inside his office with some young females when the security guy comes to get his consent before going ahead with his dad's search. Within a short time, they get a visual on Sofia. Rudy searches the listed building first, before they receive information that the father and daughter might be in an illegal clinic nearby based on Sofia's movement. The mafia infiltrates the clinic, but Santo has already anticipated their arrival, so he has given Sofia a diagram on how to hotwire a car. While she prepares their getaway vehicle, Santo baits Rudy to chase him and manages to overpower the guy. He then shoots the second attacker just as he's about to apprehend his daughter. The father and daughter escape again and find another safe house where they prepare their counterattack. Santo gives Sofia a crash course on how to use a knife, while also preparing explosives for their plan. His daughter is fully on board and finds the architecture drawing for Michel's office. Her father promises her that when they are done, they will move to South Africa for a new beginning. The following day, Sofia pretends to be lost to get close to Michel's building where she takes pictures of the guard's position for her dad. He uses it to take one hostage covertly and gains access to the building before knocking him out. As he enters the office, Sofia sets off a bomb that takes everyone's attention. This allows Santo to grab Michel like customers during a Black Friday sale. He uses him as a human shield while his daughter waits at the underground parking lot, ready for a getaway. He manages to get Michel inside the car, but the guard he knocked out earlier regains consciousness and tries to attack the car, forcing Sofia to try and run him over. This leaves her father open, causing a gunfight to erupt, but he manages to shoot his way through and get himself back inside the car. As they try to escape, the duo is chased down, so Sofia temporarily turns into Baby Driver and holds them off, giving her dad the chance to shoot their enemy. With Michel captured, Santo calls Don Angelo and threatens to kill another one of his sons if he doesn't expose his criminal empire to the police, along with all his associates within the hour. The mafia uses their technology to track down the location of the call and mobilize a unit to attack. Unbeknownst to them, Santo has already prepared, and he uses guerrilla tactics to pick them off. The ex-mafioso detonates a bomb in the car which kills the remaining attackers, leaving Rudy alone. Santo hunts him down and finishes him off with a knife. All the while, Michel pleads with Sofia to release him and tries to vilify her father, but she doesn't fall for it. Shortly after, she receives a call from him as he makes his way to Don Angelo's mansion to finish everything. He says his final goodbyes to her before going in solo, Santo kills his way through the guards and strangles the boss to the point he will sleep for eternity. But the police are alerted to the commotion, so they deploy to the house. Santo emerges out alone, and he's shot dead before he can reach for whatever he had behind him. Simultaneously, the police raid Sophia's location and take her in as they see her as a victim in all of this. The young lady is held at a special facility to recover from the trauma. Michelle later visits her and offers to help her when she gets out, as he wants to put an end to their family beef. Sophia is not receptive to the idea, but he leaves his card behind. As soon as he leaves the facility, he makes his true intentions to kill her in the same manner Santo killed his father. A couple of years pass by and Sophia is released, but by the time Michelle's men get there, she's already gone. They call their boss to alert him. As he enters the office, he's surprised to see her there. She used his business card to get in since he's used to mixing work and pleasure at the office. He thinks she's come to take him up on the offer, but she presents him with the Uno reverse card and places a knife through his lower jaw before walking out stern-faced now that her revenge is complete. This brings the movie to an end.